Hi, I am Dr. Eurydice Moore with Eurydice. I come to tell you, I told you earlier that I am a public author. I became an author in 2016. And guess what? It was all because of a grant. Yes, there are grants out there for just about everything, for buying postage stamps, equipment, supplies, furniture, car, van, building, you name it, you can claim it. You can get a grant for just about everything. You can get a grant to pay a business license, a registration fee, tuition, education. It's a grant out there for you for different things. Well, in 2016, I was able to get a grant for books, for 4 books to be published. So we got a little bit of time together. So I'm going to share my story. And my story is that, I was raised by my great grandmother, my grandmother, and my grandmother saw me go through a lot of things. They both did. And I remember one day I was standing in the kitchen because I had went through something very devastating, and she was in the kitchen and she was cooking some grits, bacon, egg, all that good stuff. And I said, "My dear," that's all I could get out. I was 17 years old. No, I was 19. I was 19 years old, and all I could get out was um, I had left my bedroom and came in the kitchen where she was, and I said, "My dear." And she stopped cooking, and she walked around the table, and she gave me a bear hug because I was hurting. And she said, "Child, you need to write a book." And I promised her that I would write a book. But you know what? 25 years would pass before the book was written. Okay. And another 20 years would pass before it was actually published. I wrote the book, but I didn't have the money to publish it. There are grants where you can get your work published. There are grants where you can do research. Let's say you want to research. There are grants for that. There are grants for publication. So back to the story. So anyway, I didn't have the money. Excuse me. And then when I did have the money, I didn't have a publisher. And one day I went to a workshop and I met my publisher, McClure Publishing Company, Kathy McClure. And I got her information, but I would say 5 more years would pass because when I met her, I didn't have the money. And when I had the money, I had no publisher. So the day came when I had both of them. I had the money, I had a potential publisher. I contacted her, told her I had a grant. Okay. Now, at that time, the grant was a business grant, it was for startup. So I was looking to publish some books, business books. And I was like, "Oh, I don't know. Okay, I got this grant. I could get business training. I got a publisher." And then God let me know, "You remember that book my dear told you to write?" And I was like, "Yeah, my dear told me to write a book." And then I'm like, but this is a business grant. And he gave me the wording, and he gave me certain words to say, and I have approval. The first book to get published by the publishing company was entitled Riddian, Overcoming the Odd. And it is an autobiography, soon to be made into a film, a feature film, not short, a feature film. Okay, so you could be looking for that. It's going to come. So I'm like, okay, so we got Riddian published, and all you have to do is go to my YouTube channel, and I did a reading. I talked about the book, and I'm going to be going on a show soon, probably December, January 2022, the first quarter of 2022, and I'm going to promote the book. The book was written in 2016, Riddian Overcoming the Odd. So my nickname was Riddy, okay? Some people call me Riss. My mother called me Riss, Ritz, like the cracker, Riss. But my great grandmother and my grandmother called me Riddy. And my middle name is Ann. I was named after my grandmother. And so to honor her, as well as make an acknowledgement inside the book, I chose the title Riddy Ann, okay, for the book, Overcoming. So there was other books that I wrote. There are three others, and I don't know if you can see this. I don't know why you can't see the cover. It's just real strange. Maybe because the cover is glossy. But here you can see the title of the book, Resource Development, Going to the Next Level. And most of my work has been with non-for-profit. In the last 2 years, I've been working closely with for-profit businesses. And this book was paid with a CHA and HUD grant collaboration project. And of course, I gave acknowledgement to my people. And this book is for the last video I did was non-for-profit business. This book is resource development going to the next level. In the nonprofit book, I tell you step by step how to set up a nonprofit. Now, I have had nonprofits, and when I went to do my research, I went to the library. I could not find one book on how to set up a nonprofit. I went to a bookstore, several bookstores, and they may have had one or two books. And it wasn't an easy read. The book that I did for nonprofit, how to set up a nonprofit, non-for-profit business, it gives you a checklist and it's in a workbook format. So as you read your pages, then you have time to think about it. And then you have, okay, let me write the example. Let's say you need a name for your nonprofit. Okay. Then you could like write down, there's space for you to write down several names. Okay. Then you go do your name check. And you do a name check on each name. Then you decide which name you're going to go with for the nonprofit. Okay. That's that book. The nonprofit book, non for profit business, step by step, how to start up a nonprofit. All right. Now, once you do that, what is your next step? Your next step would be, okay, I have this nonprofit, But now I need funding. Now, in that non-for-profit book, I tell you, you first, the major thing, you must be incorporated at your state level, and you must have the 501c3. And there's other items that you need, but you need to get the book. It'll be a guide to you, and it help you form a checklist. So, but once you got your nonprofit, now you're eligible for funding with your 501c3. And this book is entitled Resource Development. It tells you the various ways that you can get funding. The book, the first part, the book is in, I believe, how many parts? The book is in 3 parts, okay? Part 1 is a summary of non-for-profit setup. Part 2 is resources. Okay, resources that, okay, let me find that page. Oh, part 2. Part 2 starts on page 69. Okay, I'm going to that page. Page 69. Oops, that's 49. Okay, so page 1 to page 68 is a summary of the first book, in case you missed it. To let you know before you can even look for any resources, you got to set up a nonprofit. I have ran into too many people that threw up website, passed out business cards, had brochures, pamphlets, programs, and they did not take care of the business part of the nonprofit. They were operating illegally. They had not incorporated with Secretary of State. They have not registered with the Attorney General or the Charitable Trust. They have not registered with the Department of Revenue. And if they find out that you're operating either of those entities, they will shut you down and fine you. Talking about nonprofit. So I purposely, from page 1 to page 68, purposely summarized that book with a checklist and a guide, because you got to have that in place before you go to the next level, which is resource development. So what is resource development? Resource development take on many hats. Okay, resource development is getting um income, getting income into the nonprofit to support and to deliver your services. So, example, let's say you do fundraiser. That's a resource development where you have do candy sales or you do baked goods. Okay, baked goods, dinners, host events. Each one of those are a resource, and in developing it, you will generate funds coming into your non for profit. Let's say you are taking care of the homeless and you have a food drive. You have a food distribution program. Well, you can contact stores, ask them to help crate, ask the community to donate, set up crates in your churches or your establishment, uh, post flyers, let it be known that you're collecting canned goods, you know. So that's developing. Let's say you have a clothing closet and you want to clothe veterans. Well, do you know that there are cleaners, lots and lots of cleaners, that people have put their clothes in the cleaners and did not go back for them? And cleaners are only responsible for your clothes, I believe, for 2 months. And then after that, they are not responsible. They are not liable. They can give away the items because it's taking up space in their cleaners. You got that 501c3. You can go to the cleaners and ask them to donate those clothes to you and get them a contribution letter in kind. And then you're building up your closet, the clothing for the people. That's resource development. Okay. Now, I describe so many resource development, but we don't think of it as resource development. Okay, have you been to the grocery stores and you see these little chain boxes and you put money in? Okay, I think some of them change it where it's inside where you put your debit card in and they ask if you want to donate to so and so and you press yes and then you key in how much you want to donate. But there's still some places that have the little jar, or you could be like the Salvation Army. They have those kettles, and around the holiday season, they are out ringing the bell, getting funds that way. You could do that too, but their cattle is red. Get you a yellow kettle, or a purple kettle. Okay, so that's resource development. Um, there are companies that have giving programs. You could tap into that resource development. Okay, resource development is you can sit down and make a list of all your friends, family members, neighbors, enemies, foes. Make a list and make sure you reach out to each and every one of them and ask them for a donation for your nonprofit. Resource development again. So, part two of the book talks about various ways. You could throw a birthday party for your nonprofit and invite people, or a birthday party for the nonprofit, or you could throw yourself a birthday party and ask people to come and bring a donation to the nonprofit. I have several ways to develop resources in this book. Okay, now part three of the book is known as grant writing format, division three. The book is divided into three parts: summary, checklist, guide, and non-for-profit setup, then resource development, then grant writing. Okay. In this book, you learn how to put together a donor letter or a proposal letter, also known as a letter of intent or a letter of inquiry. They are all the same, just different name, but it's the same. Begging, but legally begging. You are authorized and legalized to beg. All right. So I have in Division 3 grant writing, and I have sample. I explain how to put together a letter of intent, which is a letter because some funders is not going to read everything. They said put everything on one page, front, one page, one side, your request. And they will fund you off of a letter. I have received funding off of a letter. Many people that I have worked for and did their letters, they received funding off of a letter. Okay. Now, let me see what else I want to say. And I have sample letters. I have an actual letter where when I did a conference and I submitted a letter to a bank and the bank funded the conference. And I also used a letter during that time I did a conference to request printers and gift cards because I wanted to do raffles. And I was given printers, I was given gift cards, I was given other items off of a letter. Okay. So also in grant writing, there's so many different grant format. Even though what's popular now is the grant application, okay? But back in the day, you had to know how to do a standard grant. I call it a generic grant. There's a generic grant narrative to show you, okay, how to put a grant together, how to address a RFP in this book. So this book is very valuable. Once again, oh, there go my picture on here. I don't know if you can see it, but this book is called Resource Development by Dr. Eurydice C. Moore. You can purchase this book at Amazon. Okay, let me see. Can I do comment? You can purchase this book at Amazon. Can't do it. I should have did it before the show. Amazon, you can get my book. All you got to do is type in Eurydice C. Moore books. And every book that I have done, I have really authored 7 books. 4 has been uh, published by McClure Publishing Company. The other 3 have been done by Amazon. And you can get those on Kindles. Okay. So this is Dr. Eurydice Moore. Please subscribe and keep us alive. Like, leave a comment, ring the notification bell. And, if you need information on how to become an author, I am available to share information with you. And you too can be an author. All of us got a story to tell, or we have information to share that will generate income, revenue to us, that will be reflective of the business or businesses that we have. So once again, subscribe. You like this video? I have many other videos in the YouTube studio that have pertinent information. We broadcast weekly, so you could just go into the library and view many of the videos and jot information. Once again, I do 501c3 and grant writing. I am a business consultant, and my information is going across the screen. Uh, my my name, my email, my website. This is my contact information, my phone number. Please like, share this video. If you know someone that want to start a nonprofit or a for-profit, you know someone that needs a 501c3, you know someone that wants to do grant writing, I'm the one for you. So for now, until we meet again, Dr. Eurydice Moore signing off. Anna baby, Annie girl. God bless. Godspeed.